Do you have photographic memory? And do you have artistic mind? If you have both, when you have to follow and memorize a complicated pattern, which one would win? Your artistic mind or your photographic memory? Do you make your own dolmades or spanakopita? We will answer all these questions in this episode, so stay tuned and let's start.
Now that is a good activity to be doing.
Yes, it's perfect for the weather. Sweater. So this is the back side.
And you knitted what you're wearing as well.
I knitted this.
Stunning.
I knitted this.
Stunning,
You knit?
darling, stunning.
Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back. This is Be Extra. It is a knitting podcast to celebrate everyone's creativity in the fiber art or knitting or even crocheting or whatever you are working on with fiber. So basically just knit what you want, be brave, try something new, repeat something you have done before, and make whatever you want to make or you need to make. just have fun with it. Anyway, so how is everyone doing? Are you having a good, if you live in the East Coast of the United States, are you having a good winter? Are you ready for spring? Or are you still planning to go for a ski trip or whatever activities in the winter you're going to? I think I'm ready for the next season. Yeah, I think so. I had a great 2 weeks since I last uploaded the previous episode, the podcast. Wednesday last week. Yes, last Wednesday. I went to Athens, Greece, and it's a red eye. I went to work Wednesday, and then after work I went to the airport. My office is not too far from Newark Airport, and checked in to the Emirates airline, and then on the 14th of February I landed in Athens, and it was amazing. It was my first time. I had a great time. I went by myself, and Athens, I think I talk about it in my previous episode. It is something that I never thought that I would visit it growing up when I was in Indonesia. But anyway, I had a chance to go visit. Yes, sorry. I was looking for my cell phone. It's right here. Just in case I need to show some pictures. But so the first so before we go into the main part of the um, podcast, I can share a little bit my trip. So again, 14th February, the night of Valentine's. That is, I had a dinner on a rooftop in the Plaka area in Athens. It's near the Acropolis, so it was really looking at the Acropolis. You know where the Parthenon is, and Propylaea and everything that is around the Acropolis hill. It was a beautiful, beautiful night. It was not as cold as New York or the East Coast. So I was wearing. So this is what I was wearing. I was, oh well, actually not the jean jacket, but the what do you call this thing? The shawl. So I was wearing the Sophie shawl that I finished the day before I went to Greece. And what else? So I went to Greece, and actually this is me having dinner. So you can see I was wearing the Sophie shawl, and then so that right there in the middle of that sorry, in the middle of that image is the Acropolis. So it was beautiful. And then the next day I went to the I went hiking. Well, not hiking, just walking all the way up the slope of the Acropolis to see the all the remnants, all the Greek remnants. So I put everything on the podcast Instagram. So if you want to follow, go to Be Extra Knitting on Instagram. Be Extra Knitting on Instagram. So that's me wearing the Sophie shawl and also the birthday sweater. My unpublished design right in front of the Parthenon. And then it got pretty cold up there because it was on a hill right by the ocean. The ocean is not too far away, so that is me. This Sophie shawl is huge, so that it's enough to cover my head if I need to. So that was me, in front of the Propylaea, which is the entrance to the Parthenon. So Greek culture, they're so grand. They like to make an entrance. So like every, like before you enter the Parthenon, there's the Propylaea, which is basically just like an entrance. And right before the Propylaea, there is the Claudius stairs. Anyway, if you have to show off your your dress or whatever, I think back then I'm pretty sure all this structure are really perfect to to introduce yourself. And then right after the Acropolis, I went down in the Plaka area, and so one suggestion: make sure you have a good footwear. Even running shoes are not enough because to go to Acropolis, you have to walk. There's no elevator or escalator to go all the way up to the Parthenon. from the the base. And when I went, it was really rainy. And I guess in January, February, it's a pretty. It will rain. It's not bad that you have to seek shelter when it rains. It's really just sprinkling, but the surface of the surroundings will be pretty slippery. So if I've seen people, just falling down, just walking, because it's pretty slopey going to the Acropolis and down from the Acropolis to the Plaka area. So if you want to enjoy that area, you're going to walk a lot, and you're going to walk on a slope. So basically, just bring a really non-slippery shoes. I was wearing my boots, my winter boots, so it was perfect for those condition. But anyway, so I went down to Plaka, and then the next day I decided to go to an island off Athens. So this is called Aegina Island. So that was me. Again, this is all on the Knitting Podcast Instagram, at B Extra Knitting, no space. So that's me in front of the water on Aegina Island. So I walked around the island. It's about 45 minutes boat ride from the port in Athens. And then once you're on Aegina, you will right away, run into restaurants, cafe, beautiful island, like Greek island surrounding or housings, and there are museum there. There's a museum right next to the port. So basically you can just walk around, but if you want to explore more of the island, definitely you can rent whatever, a motorcycle, car, but I just decided to walk around, and then come back to the main island, to Athens, the same day. So it was still cold. The water was definitely freezing. Like it's not a summer climate yet, but I enjoyed, because I prefer to actually explore a new place when it's not too hot, so that it's possible to walk more outside without getting heated up, I guess. But I do want to go back in the summer one year to the Greek islands, so maybe Mykonos or Santorini, but it doesn't have to be those islands, because I'm sure it will be so touristy during the summer season going to those islands. But I'll figure out when it's a good time to go, because I do want to swim in the water when it's warm enough. So that's what happened during that 2 weeks. In that trip. So I was there for, I think, 4 nights, from the 14th to the 19th. Yeah. And then, the next day I was gonna go to Corinthos. I think I also mentioned about this. Again, this is off season in the February, so there's not a lot of tourists, and which is good if you want to enjoy the area without too much of a crowd. But then that day when I was going to the Corinth, I already made an appointment with a tour group but they did not have enough people. Basically, they only have me that scheduled for that day to go to Corinth from Athens, but they need at least 8 people to be able to start the tour. So they asked me if I can cancel and if I want to go to Delphi instead. But they asked me the night before when I was in Aegina, and I was not having any reception. And I found out about it late the night before, and I said no, it's okay, because I was really planning to see Corinth instead of Delphi. So I canceled that and I moved my appointment for a Greek cooking class to the day. So yeah, I one day ahead, because I was going to go to the cooking class the day after I was supposed to go to Corinth. So the cooking class was amazing. So where is the area? I think, let me see. The area is called Matirakis, Athens. Oh, yeah. So the cooking class was done by this company, Athens Walking Tours. Let me see. So that is the company, Athens Walking Tour, and the location was on a rooftop. Basically in Athens, there are a lot of rooftop that you can go to get, cocktails, coffee, lunch, dinner, because you know how Acropolis is on a hill, and there are a lot of hills, so the beautiful view from different spots or different locations of Athens itself. So the cooking class was at a restaurant in Matirakis area, and the level where we had, I guess the roof where we had the cooking class was looking exactly towards the Acropolis, and Acropolis is always lit up at night. So the cooking class was started at 4:30 in the afternoon. So it was still bright outside, and then it was a 4-hour cooking class, because there's seven plates that I'll go over what the plates are that we learned, and one of them took 3 hours to cook, or 2.5 hours, which is lamb, I think a lamb leg or something. So the entire class and the dinner itself lasted for 4 hours. So while we were in the class, the sunset over Acropolis was the view, and that was just one of the highlights of the trip that I did not expect to have. So it was amazing. I enjoyed that cooking class so much, because one of my favorite food from a Greek food is spanakopita, and I had no idea that we were going to make it, because in my mind, spanakopita, okay, a lot of time people will use phyllo dough, and I'm like, all right, you buy your phyllo dough, and no, actually we made it from scratch. We did not use phyllo dough, and we make it traditionally, properly, how traditionally it's properly made. So this is the menu that night. So we actually, okay, I can show you in order that we worked on or studied. The first one is roasted lamb with potatoes. So when we arrived, right away we work on the potato and the lamb, and basically you use mustard and olive oil and lemons, 3 lemons, olive oil, mustard, and then you put salt and pepper, oregano, and then garlic. So the mustard is the mustard and the oil and all the spices that I just mentioned is the marinating medium or solvent, if you, or whatever, rub, or marinating rub for the lamb. So I was tasked in coating the lamb and the potato with this marinating mixture. So one tip. So in Greek cooking, vinegar is used not just to cook, but also to clean your hands as you prepare the food in the kitchen. So of course you wash your hand with soap and water, but they like to pour some vinegar on their hand and coat it because it's actually a great cleaning agent. So along the class, we keep putting vinegar whenever we wash our hand, just to and it makes your hand smells amazing also while you're cooking. Anyway, so we started with that roasted lamb, and then we make a quick I think after that, right away we make the spanakopita or spanakotiropita. So basically it's a pie. It's a spinach pie. And so if you can think about it, it's basically pie crust stuffed with, spinach. So basically for the pastry, it's just flour, water, Greek olive oil, basically olive oil from local of olive oil, vinegar, salt, and sugar. And the vinegar is how do I say it? It's a quick pie crust that you don't actually have to activate the gluten. So basically you just mix it, and then with the vinegar in there, it makes it, I don't know, you just prepare it, mix everything, and then let it sit after you make a big ball of it, and then that will just ready to roll. And then for the filling, it's, of course, feta cheese, spinach, olive oil, dill, leek, onion, and some breadcrumb and salt and pepper to taste. And then you just mix that, and then from the the pie crust that you prepare earlier, you make 3 layers. So or 4, I think, that we prepared. 4. So because I was preparing 2 and the other 2 students were preparing 1 each, so 4 at the end. And then you just roll. So you divide it into 4, you roll it, and then you put it on the pie pan, like 1 layer first, and then put all the spinach, and then layer the rest of the pie crust on top, and then you just bake it. And after that, it was really like small plates, like tzatziki dip. You also make Greek salad, and then the other one that is really so surprising that I did not expect we would make something. That one is the dolmades. So I never thought I would ever make dolmades because, when you go to Greek restaurant or Mediterranean restaurant, you always see this. And then, I don't know, to me, it looks so complicated. I'm sure there's so many steps, involved in it. Actually, it's not. And, if you have made a burrito before or, you will be able to make it. So the only special ingredients here is a grape leaf or grape leaves. So you can go to any Mediterranean store or like Greek store, and they should have Greek leaves in brine solution. So you just open, grape leaf. Did I say Greek leaf? So you put the grape leaves flat, and then you add all the ingredients, the stuffing. So we use onions, dill, actually spearmint, salt and pepper, and some lemon, and at the end some rice. And then you just put it on the leaves and then roll it. And then there's a technique in rolling, and I'm sure you can find it in YouTube. And make sure it's not too tight because the stuffing will expand when it's cooked. And the way it's cooked, it's immersed in water, so just like cooking rice. But because this thing is already rolled inside of the grape leaves, and during the boiling you don't want everything to disintegrate, so you push down everything with the plate inside the pan, so to make sure that all the rolled leaves are will stay at the bottom of the pan and not like floating. And then at the end, I think it's about 40 to 45 minutes medium heat. It's amazing. It's just like what they sell, and it's so fresh, and I did not know it was that easy. Not easy, but it's not too complicated. But anyway, that's another highlight of my trip. So that's what happened that 2 weeks. Now, let's talk about knitting. I know it's already 20 something minutes, and I keep going on and on about my 2 weeks. All right, knitting. What have I done? Finished objects. So, as you know, I finished the Sophie shawl, and I will confirm the length, the width of this thing. It is very, very, it's huge. So again, you start here and then continue, and then this is just halfway mark. Continue. So I don't know the length. It could be 150, 160 inches, but like the wingspan of it. But as you can see, so this is one half of it. So one half of the shawl is already like two round around my neck and my shoulder, and then that's the other half. And then what I usually do, I just tie up the end like 2 knots. Even after 2 knots, there's still like but I love it because it makes the whole look. I guess accessories is really it would make or break your look, whatever. And also, as I mentioned, you don't need to, if you're traveling and you want to travel a little light and it's winter, you can skip your hat, because this could be your hat, like look at that. Ooh. Again, you will see a lot on the Instagram, the Be Extra Knitting Instagram. I wore it as hood, like a hoodie and shawl, just because how big it is. So that's my finished object. Next, what am I working on? So This brings us to my earlier question. Do you have photographic memory? And do you have artistic mind or inclination? And if you have both, when you want to work on a pattern, someone else's pattern, not yours, because if it's yours, you don't have to memorize anything, you just make up stuff. But if it's someone else's pattern, do you follow your photographic memory, or do you let your artistic mind affect what you thought you memorize? Anyway, I think you know where I'm going. I like to memorize a chart when I work on a pattern, and I love charted pattern. Let me bring it a little bit. Oh yeah, I love charted pattern. And so when you work on a pattern, do you memorize the pattern, or do you just leave the pattern open or print out the pattern when you want to work on your project? I like to let's see, sorry. Oh, it's right here actually. Duh. I like to memorize the pattern. And when it's charted, it's better because again, my background is engineer. I guess I don't like to talk about my work. Anyway, chemical engineering, chemistry background. I like to look at a chart, memorize it, especially when I travel. I don't like to print patterns. I don't like to go into my cell phone, iPad, whatever, open things up. I like to just have it in my mind, just blah, 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 work now. I have to go pretty soon, so I have to finish this. So another tip is, if I do want to put look at a pattern, what I do is whatever chart that I'm working on, I just make it my cell phone background. So you see here, this is my own pattern. So you see, if I just, so you see here, it's my own pattern. So if I just, touch my phone, it will show the pattern. So that's one tip actually one of my friends shared with us, my knitting friend, Marcus. So if you just save your pattern, your chart as your cell phone background, you can just tap without unlocking your phone, and then you'll see the pattern, and then you will remember what you need to do. On top of that, if you just memorize it, then you don't have to look at the pattern every now and then. And when you travel, that's easier, right? Because you can just be anywhere. So anyway, I was in Mount, I'll show you on my Instagram. Again, if you go to the Instagram, Be Extra Knitting, I was at Mount Lycabettus. Actually, this one maybe I will put the video, edit it into this video. I was working on it. And I think I was up here. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so I was up here, and then I will put the video. Even though I was by myself traveling, I always meet people. And the funny thing, throughout Greece, Athens, I was only in Athens and Aegina, there's so many people that would connect with me, and they will just start asking, also touching my knitting. Anyway, what I was saying, I was just looking at the new place, and so I rarely look at the chart, and I thought I memorized things by just looking at the pattern. So actually, and then in my mind, I'm like, okay, so this is one repeating unit. So once I go here, I just have to repeat that unit. So I was like, after I finished one repeat unit, I just read my knitting, and that will be my pattern. So I don't need to go back to the chart. Another thing, do you go to anywhere that shows a finished product and just memorize also by just looking at it and reverse engineer the whole thing so you don't need a pattern? If you can read knitting, your own knitting or someone else's knitting, finished product is a pattern. So whenever people put an image of a knitting of pattern, I'm like, the resolution is too high that whatever product of the image is actually a knitting pattern. I mean, anyway, in fact, here there should be a whole different. Before I repeat this unit, there should be another space where there should be like 3 diamonds before we start repeating that. So basically, the repeating unit is this guy right here plus the 3 diamond, and then go back. Anyway, this is the Vika sweater. The Brooklyn Tweeds Vika sweater. I will put down the designer's name, and I'm using Le Garçon British DK Max Khaki, and this is just beautiful. And anyway, I don't mind. This looks amazing anyway, but the way this sweater is made or worked is you work flat pieces. So you start with the back side. So this is the back side, and then you will start the front side, and then the sleeves, and then you put together, and then the neck at the end. So my plan is when I start working on the front side, I will actually make the correct intended design. It's not that big of a change, and I don't really mind that the back and the front is not going to match. I guess it could just be like like a design aspect. So yeah, and I thought that was just like people in Greece that really enjoy seeing public knitting or people in knitting in public. But actually just now, this is 12:30 on Sunday. I went to, before I start recording, I was having a haircut. So the haircut was supposedly open at 10, but then they open late. So I just waited, until they open. And then there are already 2 other people. So anyway, I had an hour to wait, and I was bringing this. I'm telling you, I was just minding my own business. And this lady came to me, so I had to take off my earpod. She was just screaming, "Do you make this?" I said, "Yes." "What is this?" "Oh, it's gonna be a sweater." Without asking me, "Can I touch?" She already touched it, and she was like, "Oh, I love it. Oh my God." I'm like, Thank you. So it's not just in Greece. I don't know what it is about this. I mean, it's beautiful. But I've worked on sweater with mohair that is more cloud-like, more. I don't know, and no one ever touched it, touched that project when I was working on in public. But this, the amount of hands, Greek, American, whatnot, on this is just interesting. Anyway, so that's what happened. All right, before I go, I brought, of course, some yarn. There's not really Greek yarn that I purchased, but the first yarn that I got, another thing. If you're an engineer, or you teach math, or you enjoy math, or you're a math major, you should be able to read Greek words, because it's all symbols in math. So the only thing is, like, the lambda always tricked my perception, because it always looked like an A, but it's actually an L. So this one is mu alpha lambda alpha. So lambda. So it's Malia Sakalak. So Sakalak is last name. I guess Malia. I don't know. I translated. Try translating it. It says hair, so it could be Sakalak fiber. So anyway, this store has opened since 1935. And the good thing about yarn stores in Athens, they are all. It's kind of like in New York, in the what do you call, like a fashion area, like. Anyway, it's an area where they sell all the fibers, not just fibers, but what do you call, anything that you need to make a dress, garment, whatever. Garment district, oh my God. Fabric. So there's fabric stores, there's like button stores, everything. And I think there are 3 yarn store on that street where all the garment district at the garment district of Athens is. And one of them that I went to is Malia Sakalak. And in there I got so I asked the guy, they like Lang a lot in there. They don't really have like indie dyers, but I picked this up because it's 100% a virgin wool, non-superwash, and I think it's about sport. And the guy is really good. He keeps the store really neat. It's really easy to find things. And he knows a lot about all the fibers, and he makes a lot of what do you call, swatches for the different yarn that he has. And it's really nice talking to him. He's really he has a lot of knowledge about the yarn, and I picked this up because of the tweed. I don't know, I'm in my tweed era. And so this is a 50-gram skein. I picked up 2, and I'm planning to make socks. But he was like, yeah, for your skin, this is a beautiful color. I'm like, oh, okay. I haven't had socks in this color. And then I went to another store. Now, this name has nothing to do with the store in the United States. So, in this store, there was a group knitting or crocheting when I stopped by. It was funny because walking into a knitting store or a yarn store, and if you're a knitter and you found a knitting group that you haven't met before, it's kind of like comparable to walking into a gay bar on a Friday in a jockstrap party on Christopher Street. So, like you walk in and then you open the door and then everyone is looking, they look at you up first because, they start from the middle, your middle part, and then go up your eyes and then go back to your middle. Then you say hello, and then I don't speak the language, so I don't know what they were saying, but you just enter and then you present yourself and then you're like, yeah. So anyway, a lot of similarities between yarn store and gay bars. So anyway, I did not join the knitting group, even though I would love to. I just don't speak any language, their language, and I was respecting them. They might not like strangers to drop in because it's a whole other country culture. I don't know how people are with knitting with a group, but that's not my other goal. I will pick up the language so that next time I go to Greece, I will be able to. Anyway, I'll have from that store, I picked up a baby yak, 100% baby yak. It's actually from Italy. It's not from Greece. It's a Valparaiso, from Bergamo, Italy, and it's 100% baby yak. And I'm going to make some winter accessories for my family because this winter we will go to, somewhere cold for a family reunion. But that's all I have. Until then, be extra, be brave, knit what you want, and love what you knit. And see you. Bye.